Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening for whenever the time you watch this video. I would like to say thank you very much to my lecturer, Sir Albin. Thank you to my supervisor, Madam Anis, and thank you to the other attendees for watching this presentation. I am Muhammad FARRKHAN bin Muhammad. And today I'll be presenting my FYP presentation, which is a mobile application with aggregation ability and suggestion engine. The application is named Film. So the agenda today is to talk about the app, have a live walkthrough of the application, and then a small Q&A session for the end. So about Film. Film is a film aggregation and suggestion hybrid app. It helps user look up film information, follow them, or read reviews, or even and it suggests new films for the user based on their preferences. So why make this app, right? What's the problem? Well, one, enthusiasts have to read long written essays. This rings true for me because I am an avid reader. I read a lot of reviews because I find it interesting. I find it well thought out, and it's a very good thing. I like to read the whole sentence, no matter how long it is, because it gives me insight on how this person thinks about one thing, right? But again, it is very, very long. If you've read any kind of review on probably Rotten Tomatoes or Variety, Screen Rant, they all have essays that rank about 6 to 7 paragraphs. It is very long to just find out whether this person likes this film or not, right? So there's that problem. And also another thing is that when you're reading a lot, you are also spending a lot of time reading those reviews, right? Because not everyone processes the information as quickly as other people. I myself take a long time reading, and this is a problem because you're wasting a lot of time, or you're consuming a lot of time just to read a single review to understand whether that outlet likes the film or not. And another thing is that there's not a lot of choices in mobile applications for film information lookup. You can go on Google Play or iOS App Store, you can search film, and most of it is a streaming service. Unlike IMDb, which is probably the most prominent one in the scene right now, where you can use that IMDb database to look up film information such as movies, such as the title, such as the genre, such as the year and who it was directed with. So the objective of developing this application is I wanted to design and develop a mobile-based functional film review aggregator and suggestion system using web scraping and content-based filtering respectively. In conjunction with that, I want to test the accuracy of the aggregator and the suggestion engine using accuracy testing. So what are the scopes? There are two main scopes, which is film enthusiasts such as I and casual film consumers. Film enthusiasts that like to read a lot of reviews and want to enjoy or find new films, and casual film consumers who tend to read reviews or look up scores before they pick which films they want to watch, whether that film is worth their time or not. So the technologies and tools used are Puppeteer, Firebase, Ionic, web scraping, and content-based filtering. So Puppeteer is a Google web automation tool that allows users to use headless browser. And if you are unaware of headless browser, it is essentially a browser that imitates users characteristic, meaning that the programmer can program a script that allows Google Chrome to act as if it is a user going onto that website to do that. Firebase is a Google-based database that uses real-time and also cloud database. In this case of this application, I am developing using Firestore, which is the cloud database of Firebase. Ionic is a framework that helps design either web, mobile, or hybrid app. In this case, we are developing a hybrid application. Web scraping is a technique to get the massive amount of information quickly, and content-based filtering is a filtering method that's applied on content rather than the user. So competitions are Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, and IMDb. If you like watching film, or if you do look up a lot of film information, you most definitely have come across any of these competitions. So the process model used for this application is the waterfall model. It is a very popular model and a very simple one. It's a model that involves one another, and it is very important to do the first model, because you cannot do the second one without doing the first. If you look at the image, you can see that requirement analysis requires you to do planning first before you can do requirement analysis, and requirement analysis is required to do your design phase, right? And such and so forth. So the tests that I've done for the application is 3, which is accuracy testing, user acceptance tests, and functionality testing. And I want to go deep dive on the accuracy testing to show the results of my testing to everyone watching. So the aggregation accuracy test, I've used in the first image, the top one, you can see the algorithm that I use. There's 2, which is conversion algorithm and aggregation algorithm, or just a very simple math. The top one is to convert any kind of scores that are within per 10, meaning that 4.3 per 10 rather than per 100, right? This allows me to essentially streamline every single score and then aggregate those scores much more easier. And the figure 4.23, if you can see, is the basically me merging all of the scores that I've already converted and divide it with how many scores that how many total percentage of all of the scores, and then times it with 100 to get a percentage that's within per 100, right? And that produces a film score, an aggregated score for the application. So if you'll see the image down below, you can see that I used an example for 1917, which is a war film in 2019, which had a score from IMDb of 8.3. So what I needed to do was I needed to convert 8.3 into per 100. So I used the conversion algorithm to convert it, and then take that new convert score, combine it with the Metacritic score and the top score for the movie. And then I divide it by 300 times 100, then I get 87%. And on the rightmost picture, you can see that I've taken a screenshot from 1917 film page, and it says right there 87, which is film's score. So what about suggestion accuracy test? Well, in suggestion accuracy test, I use the user preference as a method to see if the suggestion were working as intended. So at the leftmost picture, you'll see that I chose romance as my preferred genre. I press complete, and the 2 picture from on the right, you can see the result. Little Women, the half of it, The Wrong Missy, and Twilight all have the same common genre, which is romance. Whether that be a subgenre or a main genre, it does not matter as long as it has romance within the genre. So to conclude, some of the limitations that I faced was very because of this being a student project, right? For example, I couldn't keep all films that exist because there's tens of thousands of films that exist in the world, and so I've picked like I've web scrapped 50 films that I'm able to from IMDb, of course with its set of information, and then save it in the database. This next one is of course connected with the first one, is that because of budget constraints, I'm not able to get bigger server space or storage. This means that I'm not able to keep a lot of pictures. So users aren't really able to customize their profile by having their own profile picture, something like that. And the last one is something that I really wanted to try to do but could not do it, was that I wanted to implement search filtering, showtime viewing, and current in cinema films. This means that I wanted the applications to be able to integrate itself with local cinemas, and from there I can get like current showtime for certain films, so users can not only look at film information but also book tickets, right? So for the recommendations part, like I've previously said, I wanted to create an integration with local cinemas and their membership system. That way, when they use my application, they can, look up a certain film that's about to come out, and they'll see like TGV right there and say, oh, they have a showing at 13 July at 7 p.m. right? So the user will be able to click that, and then they'll be either brought to a TGV page, or they'll have to log in from the app itself, and then they'll be able to buy it instantly from there. That creates a less of a gap between the application and the actually watching film in the cinema, right? I also wanted to develop it in a higher budget conditions. From the first and the second limitation, budget conditions constrained me to not be able to keep a lot more films. So developing it for higher budget, I'm able to keep users custom profile picture, or I can keep 1000 films in the database, and then there'll be a more robust system, or at least a more robust database of films. I also wanted to develop a more sophisticated user system, but this is a very pipe dream. I wanted to create a system where users can follow other users or can befriend other users, and from there the current user can see what the other users like, or maybe a custom list that they can see from other users that would essentially create from a content-based filtering to a collaborative-based filtering, right? My final thoughts are that I'm very grateful for the chance to be able to make this application. I took the opportunity to make this application because of my love for films in general. So I wanted to translate that love to my work, so that it doesn't really feel like work, it just really feels like an exercise for myself. And to some extent I do believe that that's true. So we're going to be continuing to the live walkthrough of the application on the second part. So thank you very much for watching. Welcome back. This is the live walkthrough of the application. This is the register page, where basically once you've launched the app, this is the first page that you'll receive as a user. So there's 4 fields, which is email, username, password, and confirm password. So first we'll just enter some random email. We'll just call this video@gmail.com, and we'll name this user as video player, video underscore player, and the password is 123456 123456, the bare minimum, I suppose. So when the user registers, the application will take to the next page, which is to pick the user's preference. So as a person, I like, of course, action, I like thriller, I like crime, and I like comedy as well. So I like these fours. I press complete, and it brings me to the home page. So as you can see here, this is the home page of the user. You can see the feed and more tab, but we'll go onto that a little bit later. And you can see the featured card for the application, which is the all films card. And this is the suggested films that I've received from the algorithm. So as you can see, all here has fulfilled a certain criteria from the 4 genre that I picked. So for example, I chose action, thriller, crime, comedy. So Alita must have at least one of this genre. So if we scroll down here, we can see the genre here. The movie has action. So that fulfills a good enough requirement for the suggestion to tell the user, for the algorithm to tell the app that, hey, this user likes action, this movie has action, I'll give a recommendation to the user. So we'll go back. So every single movie here is suggested for your preference. So this is the more tab. This is where you can see all of the genres, and this is where you can pinpoint certain films that you want to see based on the genre that you want to see. So for example, I just want to see animation films. What does this application have from animation? So I click here and it'll show me Onward and Scoob. I click on this and it'll lead me to a page for Scoob. So I can see here the film title is Scoob, and this is the description here, and it'll say Scooby and the Gang and such. This is the film score. This is the aggregated score that we talked from the slide, and this is the detail for the movie. You can see year, you can see the genre, and you can see who the movie was directed by. And this is the score from other outlets or other websites. So as you can see, IMDb gave it a 5.9, Metacritic gave it a 43, and the top scorer gave it a 40. So for example, I really like this film, right? I want to like this film. So I press here that I want to like this film, and there's a toast here that says film saved to favorites. So if I go back and I look at the favorites tab, Scoob is here. What this necessarily means is that anything that you like will list down here. So that means you can pinpoint certain stuff that you've liked, or for example you want to keep track of. Let's add one more, I suppose. So we can go here to view all films, and this is all of the films that is in the database. So if I scroll down, I look at whatever I want that's interesting to me. Let's see. How about Midsommar? A really good film. Gave it a score of 78. So I really like this movie and I want to keep track of it. I just click here and it says film saved to favorites. Go back, can go to favorites, and it shows there. And it also is arranged by alphabetically. Of course, I want to add more types of filtering, but you know, time constraints. So the second tab is search. This is where you can search for films that you are interested in. For example, if I want to see anything that has everything shows up. The Godfather, The Invisible Man, Birds of Prey, The Lodge, right? So from here I can click on one of these and it'll lead me straight to the film page. Godfather, sure, let's like this film. Oh, like this film. So it should save the film in the favorites tab. So the next tab, or at least the final tab, is the profile tab. This is where you can edit your profile or you can log out. The picture here is just a placeholder. It does not, the application does not have the ability to change user's picture, or at least choose to. So I clicked on edit profile. I am now allowed to change my username or change my password. So for example, I don't really like the name video player anymore. I'll change it to video editor. I have to enter my old password, which is 123456, and I click save, and it says profile is successfully updated. And if we want to see this reflected, you can go back and see that it's already saved as video editor. So that's essentially it. That is all of the application. The suggested films here fulfills the suggested films, and the film score here fulfills the first objective. And of course, watching from the slide, you can see that I fulfilled the second objective, which was to perform accuracy testing for the suggestion and for the aggregation as well. Note, another thing that I forgot to mention is the ability to log in. So just now we registered as video, right? video@gmail.com. So as an existing user, you have to log in using your email and your password. And of course, if you don't have an account, the register button is here and it will lead you to the register page. But if you are already an existing user, then you can log in using your email and password, and if you press login, it'll lead you to the home page. So, and of course you can log out from here as well, and it'll lead you back to the login page. Aside from that, all of the parts of the application works, and all of the components that I promised that would work works. So I hope this walkthrough has given you a general idea of my application and how it works. I suppose that is it. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you so much for Madam Anis for not letting me go just yet. And I'm very sorry to Madam Anis as well if I ever did offend her for being a little bit absent during the supervision period. So again, thank you very much to everyone who watched this. I hope you have a good day. Thank you.